You are listening to Level Up Your Gaming Podcast, episode 25, Cheating in Games. Today we talk about your players cheating in games. We discuss why players decide to cheat in games, and how to address the problem. We also go over common types of cheating, and how to spot it if you suspect it's happening. If you'd like to participate in the discussion or leave us feedback, you can contact us at levelupyourgamingpodcast@gmail.com. Also, if you like the show, please subscribe, leave us a review, or tell a friend. Now, sit back and enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Level Up Your Gaming Podcast. My name is Aaron, and in his home, back from Georgia, once again, because he's always there, he can spot a cheat from a mile away, Jared.
Hey, good week, everybody. Good week.
How are you doing today,
I tried
Jared?
something different. Good week. Is it a good day? Good week? Because it's kind of like promising. A good week. I'm doing all right. I'm happy to be home again. Hopefully we're coming up on the end of my travels and journeys and it's kind of funny because, you know, most of our listeners, you guys and gals, have been with me on this journey. Like, oh man, he's in Georgia again. No, normally my life is typically not like this. I think the listeners of the first podcast will be like, oh yeah, sometimes he says he travels, but now he's always traveling. But no, it's been a good week. Aaron, you?
It's been a good week. Can't complain. It's been very, very hot around here, but I mean, probably nothing compared to Georgia.
Actually, you know, Georgia has not been that bad. I think it's actually been hotter up here in Chicago. It might just be that I'm getting used to kind of the Georgia temperatures, but it's pretty striking up here. It's been pretty hot, and down in Georgia, it's hot, but like you step into the shade and you're fine. So.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. But yeah, no, we're about to get our game rebooted and started here again, which is nice. Tonight's gonna be our first night doing that, so I'm very excited about that.
It's almost tempting to do a topic, or you know what, we should do a podcast on how to kind of like bring back the fire.
That's a good one. I'll put that one in the hopper. That's a great.
Put it in the
idea.
hopper.
I'll put it in the hopper. But today we're going to talk about something completely different than that. And if you couldn't have guessed, we're going to talk about cheating in games.
Yes. Cheating in games is, you know, and it's funny because I'm not going to number this because otherwise I'm going to lose it.
You're going to lose
it. See, you make me laugh. You make me laugh and then I lose it.
This is the problem with being face to face on Zoom. Some week coming up, I am going to be over there with the podcasting equipment. This podcast is going to sound way different.
The sound quality is just going to go through the roof.
Through the roof.
So, cheating in game can come in the form of metagaming. It can come in the form of altering dice rolls, and it can come in the form of adding equipment and adding things to character sheets. And then it can come in the form of adding things inside game that's not added to a character sheet, but is slipped in because, you know, as storytellers, you guys and gals already have so much on your plate to keep track of. NPCs, personalities, locations, storyline, pacing, time. You know, somebody can very quickly be like, especially like, for example, in a survival horror game, what's one extra magazine?
It's a lot.
They just say they eject the magazine, they reload. No. I totally said I was bringing that. That is it's killer. So first, it's always good to identify cheating. How do you identify if somebody's cheating? Metagaming. If it's right there at your table, it's pretty easy to notice two players having a conversation that they shouldn't be having. As long as you keep ears open, you should be fine. And we have a whole
podcast on it. I mean, I would advise you go back and listen to that. We're going to kind of skip over and gloss over metagaming.
So we're gonna focus on dice rolls, adding things to character sheets, and then adding things in game that they don't have. So dice rolls. How can I tell if somebody's cheating with a dice roll?
Well, maybe before we get into those things, why don't we kind of ascertain why a player might cheat?
Oh, why do they might cheat? Okay, so I like that. The motives behind cheating. Time for philosophy with GM Jared. So all right. unlike with regular typical board games, video games, or sports or athletics, role playing doesn't have a clear defined win. It really doesn't. The only wins are, one, you succeed in the story, which is a collaborative effort with the entire group, or two, your character, there's the need for power. My character is more powerful than John's character, or Jenny's character. So really what it comes down to, cheating in general, is a feeling of I don't want to say inadequacy, but
kind of inadequacy.
The person who cheats to help out the group, I've never experienced that. I've never had a cheater, he rolls the roll, and the one that they fudge is the one that's like, I reach out to throw the other player a med kit. I've never seen that. It's something internal. It's a feeling, I think, of people, because, and I hate even saying this, but okay, small side note for all of our listeners. I am someone who has something known as obsessive compulsive disorder. I'm a diagnosed person, had to go to therapy and medication and stuff like that. Why is that important, Jared? Why do you disclose this to us? One, because I believe in the advocacy of mental health, and we should all be open and honest in those communications. Philosophy with GM Jared. But in that, for me, the most helpful thing in therapy was finally saying the things that I felt like were almost a vomit. I had to vomit them out because they didn't want to roll off my tongue. They didn't want to be spoken. They wanted to be vomited. Part of role playing is wish fulfillment. It's a major part. We live out our dreams of being an adventurer, of going off to foreign lands and seeing things, of living dangerously. But don't feel bad if you're sitting around going, oh man, I do wish fulfillment. Don't feel bad. Wish fulfillment comes in video games. Wish fulfillment comes in all sorts of way, shape, and form. This is a very healthy form of wish fulfillment because it doesn't hurt anyone else. It has boundaries and all sorts of things. But so wish fulfillment, in that, there's a part of wish fulfillment that comes out a little bit more. It's the need to, even in a game of chance and a game of building, to always be the Superman, to always be the winner. It might be, I want my friends to also think of me inside of game as this master gamer. So it's taking the wish fulfillment of game and amping it up almost a little bit. Not only do I want to be the Superman in the game, I need to be the Superman outside of the game. And I always need to maintain this persona of the Superman. So it comes from a void. It comes from pain. And I always want to push upon our listeners, that when someone's cheating in role-playing specifically, it usually comes from a place of hurt, a place of missing inside the heart. It's not, okay, there might be vindictive cheaters out there and people who are just mean-spirited. But if you got mean-spirited people in your game,
maybe not be gaming with those people.
Probably not should be gaming with them. Just time to part ways. But it comes from a place of hurt, and it comes from a place of feeling not adequate. Because me, when I roll a botch, which is often, when I roll a failure, which is often, I don't feel any less of a man, because I have outside factors that tell me that, I'm a good boy and I deserve to be loved and should love others. I have a beautiful wife. I've got a mother who tells me I'm special. Come on, that didn't even get a giggle out of you. My mom tells me I'm special. I've got a work that gives me pats on the head. I've got great friends that tell me all these things, and I have all these things, all these external factors. Now, somebody missing those external factors in their lives might have that void, and they might seek it from their gaming group in the moment. So always understanding that it comes from a place of hurt, of a void, really should define you as a storyteller tackling this issue. Understanding and stopping and identifying, oh man, why is Jake doing this? Because especially if it's rapid change in behavior, if Abby from your game is going from always straight up rolls, nice, good, normal play, and all of a sudden Abby is cheating and you're seeing it. What happened with Abby? Why the change of behavior? Did Abby just break up with her boyfriend? Did Abby just get kicked out of her house? Did Abby just lose her job? Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, well, no, that's exactly it. I mean, most of the time people are cheating because of external factors to the game and not something directly involved in the game. Now, there is one other point, because I know there are GMs who are like this, okay, which this could encourage cheating as a result of what the GM does when bad consequences show up for bad rolls specifically, okay, or bad consequences show up for bad preparation or something like that. People will be prone to cheat to avoid the consequences. So you as a GM, okay, my advice would always be to be really be introspective on who you are and make sure that you are treating players fairly based upon their botches or critical failures or whatever bad scenario you put them in. Give them a little bit of leniency. Understand that listen, if you play by the rules, I'm not going to murder you.
I'm not going to murk all of your characters if you play by the rules. And it's funny because I've never dealt with mass cheating in a game. I've dealt with single players individually, and that is a really fantastic point, Aaron. Just out of the park point. So before I went into the private corporate world, I was an administrator for a school very briefly for about 2 years. If a teacher had one student in the class that was misbehaving, I say, what's going on with that student? If a teacher has a class that is misbehaving, I ask what's going on with the teacher. Because here's the thing, I don't believe in the statement there aren't bad kids, there are only bad teachers. I don't believe that. There are bad kids. Yes. Trust me, I taught them. I taught in a youth correctional, or not correctional, but violent youth offender school. But my class was always very orderly and stuff like that. Why? Because I truly had a passion for my kids and I truly had a love for my children. So I didn't have the massive behavior problems that you could see in other classrooms. But if your whole group is cheating, you need to be introspective. Just like Aaron said, you have to be introspective. What am I doing that is causing a mass breakout of cheating? And Aaron hit the nail on the head. Your consequences are probably out of the park if they fail. Like, oh, we took the left branch and it was a party wipe. So now we're going to cheat and say that navigation roll in the internal tunnels based off of pressure of the wind succeeds. John, it's up to you to cheat on that roll. And if all of your players are cheating, they're talking about it. They are working as a team against you. Okay? And trust me, at this point, you can't shame them. Because right now, they think they're in what's that one movie, 21, like where it's team poker against the house because the house is always winning. You got to get introspective. You just have to. But when it is a single player, you need to be introspective about them.
Yes.
What is going on in their life? They might put it back on you. They might be like, dude, you always mess up my character. And that is a point to look at. Do I single this player out for harsher consequences? Because you might be in some sort of belief that you can make them better by giving them harsher consequences than the rest of the group. That is they may
perceive your consequences as being harsher, and they could just be a problem with you as the GM and not the problem with how you're administering.
However, I have met the GM who literally did do that. It was like, I'm harsher on you because I expect you to be better than the rest of the group. I know this because it happened to me.
I
They
think
have a
I
sit
might know
down.
who that GM is.
You know exactly who that GM is. They were blunt and point blank with it, and that was just some BS. Everyone plays by the same rules. Period. Just because you have a star player or a player who's kicking butt doesn't mean that you take them down. Everyone plays by the same rules. Period. Soccer doesn't change rules just because Beckham's out there. They just don't. Oh, Manchester United's playing. Let's change those rules. Sorry, folks.
By the way, you have to score twice as many goals to win the game.
Got to score twice. Two goals equals a goal. No, it doesn't work like that. So get introspective. Really sort of look at the motives behind it. Once you start identifying that and looking into that, trust me, the whole rest of the process will go better. Because you've got, oh man, it is crucial that you have a conversation with your player. And I'm gonna say this, it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be ugly.
It's never a good conversation.
It's gonna be gross. Now it might be in one of two ways gross. One, they get defensive and they're probably gonna say things and whatnot, like wheatons, or it's going to be a therapy session with your friend breaking down like, oh my God, my boyfriend broke up with me. It's going to be gross. There are going to be tears. They might even be your tears. But every friendship, just like your gaming group are your friends. And just like every friendship, a friend is doing something to you that is hurtful. You need to be open and honest with them. And you need to have those conversations and have good communication skills. I wish we could grab my wife and she could give you some really great tips on having conversations about communication. Like, use I statements. I feel, she could probably thunder through about a million different things on how to have this conversation. But one, do not have this conversation with the rest of the party waiting for you, because trust me, I've seen it. I've seen the storyteller and the player walk off into a bedroom. They slam the door. You could hear the yelling straight through the door, and the rest of us are sitting around awkward and bored. I wouldn't say bored, because we're just like, oh shit, they're really laying it out on the table. We're all sitting there like, wide-eyed, like hearing the words that are coming out of these people's mouths. But awkward is the great word. So do not have the conversation with the players present, the other players. Invite the player over before game. Invite them to stay after game. If your game runs late into the night, recommend cutting your game early in that evening, because you don't want them to be exhausted. It's 2 a.m. They really don't want to get into a conversation with the storyteller. So understand timing, because it's crucial, because trust me, the last thing you want to do is have this conversation when you're both tired and you're not thinking clearly, because science has dictated we go to sleep not because our body is tired. We go to sleep because our brains are tired. And if you're having a conversation when you're tired, your brain is not functioning correctly at 100%. So invite them over before game. If it's a player that you're not too common with, you know what I mean? Like, they're the friend of a friend. Don't invite that other friend there. That's not my recommendation, unless you feel that the other friend understands, unless you've talked with that other friend and been like, yeah, he's cheating. I see it too. Because trust me, the other players have seen it. They've detected it. They know what's happening.
The other players know it. The other players will turn against you at some point if you do not address it.
They will. If you don't address it, if you don't nip it in the bud, they're gonna have a conversation with you, and not a bad one, because first it'll start off with, dude, do you want to talk to Michael about his rampant cheating anytime soon? You got that on the schedule? And then they'll up the ante, be like, dude. And then they're going to really up the ante to not showing up to game. So you need to nip it in the bud. If it is a friend of a friend, okay, yeah, you might want to bring the other friend in if the other friend is on your side. If you know he's going to defend Michael to his very last dying freaking breath, do not bring that friend to that conversation because they're not going to help that conversation. But if it is a third-party member or it's just someone you don't know very well and you don't feel comfortable welcoming them to your home, when the other people are not present, have it in a third-party location. Breakups happen in restaurants all the time. Waiters have seen it. I mean, it might be the first time they were like, man, dude, did you two just break up? Well, no. But we did just have a conversation about him cheating in our role-playing game. By the way, we do Dungeons and Dragons every Thursday night, 10 o'clock. Would you like to play? No. That might be a first for that. But it won't be the last. 3 years on as a waiter. You might be a great story for them for their grandkids. One time. But you have to have that conversation and use those I statements. I feel it has been noticed. It has been brought to my attention. It's going to be awkward. Next thing, shift to positive light. The only reason we want you to stop, you don't need to cheat. Now, they are going to get defensive. They're going to tell you they're not doing it. And one thing that I hate, I don't hate, but I don't recommend, is people will be like, allow me to open up my journal and present to you the evidence of your cheating.
Yeah, no, that never works well. Think about if you ever had a relationship. If you brought evidence to the fight, you're gonna have a problem.
You're about to have a bad fucking day, because I could tell you right now, someone's gonna be like, "You were keeping track," and it's gonna escalate. Do not bring evidence. Listen, sympathize, empathize, understand, because they're gonna say, "I'm not cheating." You're just gonna say, "I know you feel that way. You feel that way. That's not the truth. You feel that way. However, it has been noticed. I believe that you might be cheating, and understand that I still want you as a player." Positive. I'm not kicking you out of the group, dude. All I'm asking is that you stop turning your 5s into 10s. That's all I'm asking. There is no punishment. We are not going to chop off your left hand.
Well, the other players might beat you with a sack of oranges if you don't stop. So.
The other players might be plotting your untimely demise. I can't guarantee your safety. But all I'm asking is that you stop cheating. And this is what you're doing. We know that you're adding extra equipment. Keep it vague. Don't be specific. I know that you added an M16 rifle to your arsenal. I know that you ended the Lance of Longinus. Okay? Although
that
would be
pretty specific. That'd be very easy to notice.
It's just the spear that pierced the side of Christ, and supposedly whoever holds it is undefeatable in battle. We kind of noticed.
It might have also contributed to all the crazy dice rolling you've been doing, but who knows? Who knows?
But use I statements, de-escalate. Let them know that you still want them to join. You still want them to be there as a player. All that you're asking is that they cease cheating, and that will bring a positive light. Let them talk. For example, if they start explaining to you why they are cheating, no need to bury a dead horse. And they're let them talk. Listen to what they are saying. Listen. That is the main part of the conversation. Just don't wait for your turn to speak. Listen. And then when it is appropriate, give your answer. And if they're not giving you a turn to speak, ask them, okay, I would like a moment to speak. I've listened to you. Please listen to me. I'm asking you as part of the conversation. If it starts getting heated, and it might get heated, stick with it as long as you are comfortable and you are safe. If someone starts throwing shit, goodbye. Our conversation is concluded.
The conversation about cheating over your make-believe game, not so important anymore.
Not so important anymore. You just threw a coffee cup. Okay? The Denny's is calling the police, so I'm going to exit the scene. Don't, because they'll pull you over, and that's just going to start a thing.
But no, I think that's just some real solid advice there, and I think that again, I think we touched on this in the metagaming episode. thought we should bring it back here, really just kind of talk about the reasons for it. And then, we kind of started the episode by talking about different types of cheating that you're going to see. And I thought maybe we should now start kind of flexing into that and seeing
Yeah,
what we
absolutely.
got.
The first one's dice rolling. How to identify dice roll cheating. It's not hard. Think about your own dice rolling. Do I botch essentially once out of every 3 rolls? Do I get, natural 20s every other dice roll? Now, there are nights where you're freaking hot. I've had those nights where I just can't stop rolling freaking successes. I can't stop. I don't get one under a 10. We all know those nights are special. Those nights are one that you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, you don't go to a casino every week and win big.
Exactly. Once in a while, you lose. And it's actually pretty common that you're in the mid-range. I mean, there are more numbers in the mid-range than there are in the high range. The 17, 18, 19, 20. Comparatively, then there's, 16 other low numbers who are more likely to hit those. Dice rolling cheating is very, very obvious. You're not going to have a hard time identifying it. It's going to kind of pop out at you. Ways to kind of prevent that, to deter someone. All dice are now to be rolled on the table.
It's a good way to do it.
All dice are now to be rolled in the software dice roller that we all use, that we can see everyone else's rolls. Because if you use, trust me, if someone's telling you they're using a private dice roller, they're using a private dice roller because
they want to privately cheat.
Now, that doesn't mean the guy who's at game was like, I use my phone, and they shake their phone and it throws the dice for them. That one you're going to figure out because of the numbers. The fact that they're like, because one of my famous ones that I kind of realized someone was cheating on their phone was they were like 7, 8, 8, 9, 10, 10, 10. It wasn't the numbers that, that just took you 45 minutes to read 5 numbers? Because anyone who's reading off a phone will be like 4, 5, 5, 2. They're not going to sit there thinking about each freaking number and like, is this a 7 or a 10? I can't believe it. Because they're taking time to process what numbers they want to spew. So dice rolling, very easy, very obvious. People adding stuff to their character sheets, not so easy, not so obvious unless you were the holder of the character sheets.
That's really, really tough. That one always comes in where you require special equipment for some activity you're doing, and a player goes, oh yeah, I have a splunking kit, or oh yeah, I have a flashlight.
That's in-game. That's in-game. I'm talking about altering the character sheet.
Oh yeah, if you're not the holder of the character sheet, for a long time I think we did give you our character sheets.
Yep, everyone did, but that was just because it was a convenient place to store them.
Yeah.
And so, during my maintenance period, I could look through the sheets and make sure that my threat levels were appropriate to my characters. I've been doing that since the very beginning. I've always identified, are my threat levels comparable to my characters? But with this age of digital, and you're not looking at every character sheet every day, it doesn't warn you when, ping, Paul has just bought this. It doesn't tell you that, especially in the digital age. The only thing that I will tell you is that for identification, it's a lot harder. Just monitor your character sheets. If you feel or think, if you start to notice that something seems to be awry, like I remember you having only a strength of 18 and somehow it got moved to a 19. Or I'm pretty sure last week your strength modifier was 4, not 5. That's how you're going to notice it with actual changes to the character sheet. It's a very quiet form of cheating because they might say, it's one skill level of diplomacy. No one's going to care. You do care because it's cheating.
This type of cheating could also show up in character creation too when you're doing when you're doing a character creation, it's really hard. So like obviously we're playing White Wolf, and so we have a specific number of dots that you can assign at the beginning of it. Well, it's hard to check the math on that. It's really, really hard to check the math on that, because if you not everything's maxed out, which is obviously like, oh, there's a problem. You know, if you just have a bunch of dots all over the place, I mean, it's very, very hard for you to be like, this looks suspicious to me. Like, and it's really, really easy to cheat on a character creation sheet. Even in D&D, if somebody rolled up a character, you might not realize how badly that character is manipulated from the start. And
you might not catch it. You might not catch it ever. I'm just giving you the heads up now.
Yeah. But that would fit into the type of cheating that Jared's talking about, which is the character is, one, overpowered for the start of the game, and then two, the character continues to power up in ways that are unnatural to the progression of the game. Bear in mind that the first couple of levels that you gain are easy. After that, it starts slowing down quite a bit.
Quite a bit. So you just have to be vigilant. And again, that one's really hard to catch. I mean, it's really, really hard to catch unless you collect all sheets at the end of the day. But even, you know, I mean, honestly, I have had players inform me like because when I LARPed, I was an assistant storyteller in LARPing for a long time. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. They never let me be an ST. I don't know why. Always an AST, never an ST. Maybe because, you know, when it comes down to it, I was informed by other players like, hey, this guy's character sheet, they might have made a few modifications. And I was like, oh crap. Because I can't even run the math. I don't know how much experience they got last week or the week before that. I don't know how many kills they got the week before that. It's really up to you to kind of monitor it, watch it if you get informed or if you get the idea. Maybe collect all character sheets at the end of the night for a few weeks, because they'll worry like, oh crap.
Yeah, typically it takes a village kind of in that situation where like other players are noticing it, because the more people who are keeping their eyes on, again, and your other players are probably going to be more vigilant towards cheating than you are.
Yes.
Because if they are playing to the rules and by the book, and you have one person who's not, they're the ones who are going to come to you and say, hey, there's a problem. Or they're going to start paying attention. Yeah, because they're not being treated the same way, and the GM's not noticing it. They want to make sure, hey, teacher, this guy over here, this jackass,
this prick. Because unlike a test, it does affect them. So the third, the mystical magical bag of holding that seems to hold everything. This is kind of, it's a little less sly than changing their character sheet. It is the, oh yes, of course I had a flashlight. Of course I brought the car keys. I'm very specific on what equipment my players bring with them. Why? Because I focus on survival and horror. Those are my creme de la creme. It's my personal forte. So I love keeping track of how many mags my characters hold. Because once they run out, there's
bullets are important. You got to track that. I mean, that's a very easy way to cheat in a game, is to just not count your bullets. And the GM does not count your bullets. It is an honor system. The players do that.
Except for Jared, because Jared will sit there and be like, that is a 16-round magazine. You have fired 15 shots, sir. You're on your last bullet. Like, Jared, stop reading gun magazines. And I'll be like, no. Yeah, it's very easy to slip in one extra bullet. It's very easy to say, yeah, of course I brought my rope with me. It's on my character sheet, but even though you know that they left it in the wagon. Kind of like metagaming, call it out. You know, be like, I don't think you brought that. Pretty sure you left it on the wagon. Pretty sure you left your 14-foot long sniper rifle in your, you know, spaceship. Confront in that period. You know, for example, one of my players that we used to work with, we played with a lot. He loved playing a sniper, and I was just like, you don't take that everywhere, because any of you guys have ever used a long gun, be a little conspicuous walking down the street with your
What do you mean?
bolt action rifle.
You can't conceal that thing? What are you talking about?
So yeah, it's a little bit more conspicuous. Generally with metagaming, it's just be honest with your players when they do it. Call it. Like, I don't think you know a lot about sailing. Just like I'd be like, yeah, I don't think you brought a flashlight with you. One way that I avoid that form of cheating is I just make sure that everyone puts down what they bring with them. I like to make sure that my players differentiate between gear that they have in the car, gear that they carry in their luggage, and gear that they carry on their person. I differentiate it with my characters because I never want to be inadvertently cheating because I'm like, oh, I always carry a flashlight. Also, look at the equipment that they do bring with them. It is a fun form of accident, because generally this is not cheating, but just GM tip. Bing. Look at the gear that they're bringing with them. In modern games, sci-fi games, unless it is a rule of law that you're walking around with a pistol holstered, people are going to notice. People are going to notice people who are locked up for battle rattle. Okay? They're just waiting for a gunfight. You can't walk around the city of Chicago wearing a bulletproof vest without somebody calling the cops, because they think you were up to trouble, sir. Most medieval cities, yeah, I got my sword on me, but most knights didn't walk around in full plate all the time. You're walking around in full plate, they're going to be like, dang, somebody's about to start some shit. He's going to go fuck somebody up. They're going to be so dead because he's wearing full plate. It just comes down to make sure that you're watching your character's equipment. And my personal favorite, they're not going to flip a power over on you in the middle of the game. It's going to be equipment. Oh, excuse me. So just be mindful. Really, being a storyteller is being vigilant. What it comes down to is storytelling and cheating, the core essence. Be vigilant, and when you catch it, understand where your player's coming from, and confront in an appropriate manner. These are the three basic tenets of cheating in your game. And if you follow these, that you identify, you empathize, and then you confront in an appropriate manner, you will have success. Well, you will level up your gaming.
Thank you, Jared. Cheetos, the crunchy treat that everyone loves to eat. Jared.
Oh, that rhymed. Good alliteration there.
You're welcome. Anything else that you have on this topic?
I think I summed it up.
All right. Well, as always, if you like the show, you can send us your comments or questions, ideas for an episode topic at levelupyourgamingpodcast@gmail.com. Or subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend, share with friends, share with your mother, share with your dad, share with your brother, your sister, all your relatives, actually. Just tell everyone to listen to it. And for Jared, I'm Aaron. Have a good week, guys.
Have a great week, everyone.